In downtown Millville, there was a bank called Boulder Ridge Trust. It had a long history, dating back over 50 years, serving people in the community. But, like many others in the financial world, it had been hit hard by the sudden economic downturn. The bank had been struggling for months and was now on the brink of collapse. The board members and managers scrambled to find a way out, knowing that if they didn't raise at least $2 billion soon, they'd have to shut down, laying off hundreds of workers and leaving the town without one of its oldest institutions. Everyone was scared. No one wanted to invest in a sinking ship, even though they all knew the consequences. The bank's reputation had already taken a hit. But there was one person, one billionaire, who saw this as an opportunity to make things right. His name was Walter Stein, but very few people knew him by that name. Walter was known in business circles as a mysterious but brilliant investor. He had a reputation for saving companies on the edge of ruin, pulling them back from the abyss with his wealth. But Walter didn't want to be seen as the typical rich man in a suit, driving an expensive car or showing up in the limelight. He was tired of all the flashy attention, and for this particular investment, he wanted to do something different. He knew that money wasn't always enough. He had learned that companies, like people, had character. And what better way to test the character of a bank than to see how it treated someone who didn't look like he could offer them anything? So, Walter devised a plan. He would disguise himself as a homeless man and walk into the bank to see how they would treat him. If they treated him with respect and dignity, then he would know they were worthy of his money. If not, he would walk away and let them fail. Walter dressed in tattered clothes, wore a cap that covered his face, and pulled on worn-out shoes. He didn't even bother with a clean shave. Looking the part, he walked towards the front door of Boulder Ridge Trust with determination in his eyes. As Walter approached the entrance, the security guard standing outside, a man named Jimmy, immediately took notice and frowned. He had seen all kinds of people come and go, but Walter's appearance made him pause for a moment. He didn't seem like someone who belonged in a place like Boulder Ridge. "Hey, buddy," Jimmy called out as Walter reached the door. "You can't just walk in here looking like that." Walter raised his hand, giving a gentle smile. "I'm just here to withdraw some money from my account," he said. Jimmy narrowed his eyes, unsure of what to make of the man. "You don't look like you're here for that." But Walter wasn't about to be pushed around. He stepped forward, ignoring the guard's order, and walked into the bank. He had a plan, and he wasn't going to let anything stop him. Inside, the atmosphere was much warmer. People in suits walked by, chatting about business and money. The sleek desks and glass walls made it clear that this was a place where money ruled. Walter headed straight for the counter, where a woman named Nancy worked. Nancy was in her mid-30s, with a neat ponytail. She glanced up at Walter as he approached. Her face softened for a brief second, but that warmth quickly disappeared when she took in his appearance. "What can I help you with?" Nancy asked, her tone a little more distant than Walter expected. "I need to see the manager," he replied simply. Nancy paused. "The manager?" she asked. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," Walter said, "but it's important." Nancy hesitated, but then picked up the phone and dialed. "Samantha, could you come to the front, please? There's someone here who wants to speak with you." A moment later, a tall woman appeared from the back. Her name was Samantha Richardson, the branch manager. She had been with Boulder Ridge Trust for nearly 15 years and prided herself on maintaining order. Samantha's sharp eyes immediately assessed Walter's appearance, and without a word, she walked toward him with an air of authority. "What's going on here?" Samantha asked. Walter straightened up slightly, trying to make himself understood. "I just wanted to speak with you about some business," he said. "I've been a customer here for years, and I—" Before he could continue, Samantha cut him off. "Look, "We don't have time for this," she said with an abrupt tone. "This is a bank, not a homeless shelter. We don't accept people like you here. If you have a real issue, you can talk to someone else, but I suggest you leave now." Walter's eyes narrowed. The response was cold, dismissive, and he could feel the weight of the moment settling in. He wasn't sure if she was just acting out of arrogance or if this was how the bank truly operated. "I see," he said quietly. "Then I'll leave. But before I go, there's something you should know." Walter straightened up fully, pushing back his hat, revealing his face. The moment he did, the atmosphere in the room changed. Gasps went up from several people around the bank as they realized who was standing before them. Walter Stein, the billionaire investor, the man whose name everyone in the financial world had heard of. Samantha's face went pale as she stammered, "You're—" "Yes, I am Walter," Walter said. "I came here today because I was interested in investing in this bank. I was going to offer you $3 billion to help save it from going under. But based on the way you've treated me, I've decided to walk away." Samantha's mouth hung open as she tried to comprehend what was happening, but Walter turned and walked out of the bank without another word. As he left, Walter couldn't help but wonder what had happened to the values that once guided businesses like this. Integrity, honesty, and kindness, none of it seemed to matter here. It wasn't just about the money, but the way people treated others that mattered the most. By the next morning, the story of what had happened at Boulder Ridge Trust was all over Millville. People couldn't stop talking about how the billionaire Walter Stein, a man whose investments had saved dozens of companies, walked into the bank disguised as a homeless man and left without investing a dime. Samantha Richardson sat in her office, her whole body trembling as she scrolled through her phone. Article after article painted the same humiliating picture. Boulder Ridge Trust loses billion-dollar savior due to arrogance. Samantha could barely read the comments below the articles. The words arrogant, cold-hearted, and judgmental stood out, piercing through her like sharp needles. And so, Boulder Ridge Trust was left to sink, with its arrogance and lack of character sealing its fate. This brings us to the end of the story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.